making a video about how I told my family I was pregnant. A few of you asked me to make a video about how I told my parents, but I figured I might get more questions on about how I told everybody else. So I'm just gonna combine everything together. So I'm going to give you guys a little backstory. My whole family, except my oldest sister, were going on a family trip to Colorado. Probably the second day we were there, I started getting sick. And by the way, we went there and stayed with some family friends for a few days, and then the rest of the time we camped. So about the second day we were there, I noticed that I was starting to get sick, so I didn't really feel like doing anything. We were going to go hiking. I didn't feel like going hiking. I just wanted to stay at our family friend's house, just like sleep or watch movies because I was not feeling good. So I told my mom that I was feeling sick. She said, maybe it's just altitude sickness. You should drink lots of water, see if you feel better. So I did. I drank lots of water. I didn't feel better. I was sick to my stomach. I had a really pale face. I had a headache. I would get really nauseous in the car. The next day, she asked me if I was feeling better. I was. So I told her, yeah, I was feeling a little bit better. Probably we stayed with our family friends 3 days that we were there. So after that we went camping at a campsite, and I was feeling a little bit better, but I was still getting sick in the car. So my mom realized that my sickness wasn't going away. So she asked me if I had gotten my period. I said no, and something else happened. We didn't talk about it anymore. So basically I was still sick for the entire trip. When we got back, like a week later, I think, she asked me again, did you ever get your period? I said no. So she went to the store that night and came back with a pregnancy test. She said, here, take this, bring it in my room after you take it. I guess I forgot to include about me and Caleb what our thinking was on this. When we were on the trip, we kind of knew I might be pregnant. I don't know if this is TMI or not, but the condom broke and I had skipped a few days on my birth control pills. So when I was sick on the trip, we thought, you know, I'm probably pregnant. Caleb was kind of like chill about it. He didn't really want to think about it until I actually had a test and we knew I was pregnant. So we just kind of like put it off in the back of our heads and tried to enjoy our trip. Me and Caleb hadn't talked about it at all since the trip. This was a week later. So when my mom got me the test and I took it, I knew that that it was probably going to be positive, but in that moment when I saw the 2 lines, I was just like in shock. I was like, oh my god. All these different emotions are rushing through my head. I didn't know what to think. Standing in the bathroom there, I had my phone. I took a picture of it, sent it to Caleb. I'm like, yep, I'm pregnant. He was like, okay, what do we do? He hadn't replied yet. And I took the pregnancy test like my mom had told me into her room and we talked about it. She said, okay, so it's 2 lines. This says that you're pregnant. What do we do? She called my dad into her room. She said, the test says that Karma's pregnant. He's just like, oh my god. He's like, just kind of looks around, mad. And then my mom says, well, she's pregnant, we can't do anything about it, we better just think the best, or try to be as positive as we can. I was just like really nervous talking to my parents. All these thoughts were going through my head. I was really scared. I was just sitting there at the test looking like really embarrassed. Then we started thinking about options. Like, obviously it was me and Caleb's decision, but my parents were like, you know, telling me what they think I should do, giving me their opinions. Their first thought was that I should get an abortion because they thought this baby would entirely ruin my life. They weren't really thinking about how great it could be. But we obviously decided to keep him. So Caleb was actually at a friend's house when I sent him the pictures, so when he got it, he was just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm at a friend's house. So we were just texting while I was talking to my parents. Like, what do we do? Obviously, we don't want an abortion. So we started thinking into adoption. Like, we both knew we didn't really want to go with adoption because I already love this baby. I wanted to keep this baby. I wanted to raise this baby. Caleb wasn't really sure. Caleb thought maybe it was a good idea to give him up for adoption because they could financially support him better than we could. That was our thinking at the time. We just weren't sure. But that kind of happened. My mom took me to the doctor like a week or two later, just for a confirmation that I really was pregnant and to try to figure out how far along I was. So I was about 10 weeks when I found out, and probably about 11 or 12 weeks when I finally got a sonogram and figured out, like, for sure exactly how far along I was. So, I'm not sure, I forget if my mom told my grandma before or after I went to the doctor that I was pregnant. But I just remember it was somewhere around there, before or after I found out. Or not, before or after I went to the doctor. I think she was a little bit disappointed, my grandma was, but she was excited mostly, even though we didn't know what we were going to do yet. A few weeks after the sonogram, when we were like still trying to figure out what we should do, we didn't know yet. But obviously abortion was out of the picture. Like, that is not an option for me. Then my dad told his mom, my grandma, and this is kind of where the story takes a turn off the cliff. She was really mad. She was furious. She didn't know what she wanted me to do. She was just mad. And she said to my mom, like, if she is old enough to do the things that she did, obviously, to have this baby, then she's old enough to tell me face to face that she's pregnant. My mom thought, you know, that isn't going to help anything. That's just going to make her feel worse about what she did. So obviously I didn't have to tell her. So she was just mad about it. She never changed her mind that I shouldn't be pregnant, which obviously I can't change that unless I got an abortion, and I was not going to do that. So she's out of the picture now. We don't talk to her anymore. I feel so bad about it because she doesn't talk to my dad anymore, and I feel bad for my dad because I totally ruined his relationship with her. My uncle and aunt live in Australia, and they never, before I got pregnant, they didn't call, they didn't ask about us, or they kind of weren't there. They would sometimes talk to my dad, text him, email him, maybe every couple months, but it wasn't like they would call all the time and ask about us. So we just, my mom and my dad were thinking, like, you know, why should we tell them? They don't even care. They don't even call much. So we just didn't tell them. A while later, I guess my grandma told them. I told Caleb's dad I wanted to. I thought if Caleb told him, he would yell and scream and be furious and just you know, be mad at Caleb, but so I thought if I told him, he wouldn't be as mad. So the night I found out, I texted Caleb's dad. I said, hey, sorry to ruin your night, but I have to tell you I'm pregnant. He was like, I don't know what to do. Okay, I work in the morning. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We were just kind of like, okay, we'll deal with this in the morning. I think it was after we found out like what exactly we were doing, if we were keeping the baby. I think that was when Caleb called up his grandparents, told them that I was pregnant. They were angry at first, like mostly anybody would be, but they accepted it. They're fine with it now. They love Toby. I think a few weeks after we found out was when Caleb told his two sisters also. Completely supportive. Obviously they were kind of disappointed, but you know, stuff happens, things happen in life that you can't control. They're okay with it. Everybody's fine with it now except for my dad's mom. So that is how I told my family that I was pregnant. Everybody loves Tobias and we're all happy. And now we have our sweet little Tobias. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any more video suggestions, just leave them down below. See you guys later. Bye.